Hello, loves.
Hello.
I'm taking over Kristin's part today. Kristin is not with us today. She is on a much-needed family vacation. But hey, welcome back to the Power Posse Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I am Stacie.
And I'm Ann.
And we say hello to Kristin as she's sailing along on the Caribbean Sea right now.
Yes.
But this is the place where women gather to power up, speak truth, and ride the waves of this wild, beautiful life together with courage, conviction, and a little bit of sass. If you caught our last episode, you know that we did something a little bit different.
Yes.
Instead of having a guest last week, we talked instead about the words that people say that impact us, whether they be good words or bad words, and how they've affected us and stuck with us.
Yes.
And so today we are going to slowly talk about a lot of the things that we've heard from, which was you guys. So thank you for reaching out to us, and thank you for sharing your stories. And we're going to share a little bit more today about some of the things that we have heard from you.
Yes, because sometimes the conversation after the initial conversation between the three of us is where the real shift happens, when we have input from others, including our listeners. This is where we unpack our deep dive episode, what moved us, what challenged us, and how we're making meaning of it in our own lives. So grab your beverage of choice and your journal and just your whole beautiful self and settle in, and let's talk about what lit us up, what lit you up that you shared with us, what cracked us open, and how we carry it forward together with your Power Posse.
Dun, dun, dun.
So let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into it indeed. And we are going to kind of continue this conversation, in the weeks coming. So please feel free to continue to share with us. And I'm going to ask you right now to share some of the positive things as well. I think it's really easy to remember what some of those negatives ones were, because they really do impact us. But we also know that there is power in positivity. And so we just really encourage you to think about the things that you maybe say to people when they need to have some love and encouragement, or things that people have said to you that have really stuck with you, that have also been positive and have moved you or changed you or challenged you in a positive way. But Annie, I know that you have quite a few things from some of our listeners. We're going to share those. And we've also had conversations with people as well. And we're going to share those too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was just fascinating how it really just struck a chord with people, this conversation. And they were like, yeah, me too. That happened to me too.
Another Me Too movement.
Yes, absolutely. Just things, insults, nicknames, comments that people have made a lot of times when you're much younger. And it could be a family member, but also just random people. Like some of our examples were just some kid in the hall, or some guy at a bar, or any kind of scenario like that. And it's like, gosh, why that one comment, that one time really stuck with me. And it hurt. And then it just comes up out of nowhere from time to time. Often we talked about when we look in the mirror, because a lot of them do have to do with body image,
physical appearance,
and body shaming, which is just it's just interesting that seems to be the case. So actually, one of our listeners of the Power Posse, thank you so much, said, I really, 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 three reallys, liked this episode. I have so much to say on this topic. So right there, it just really struck a chord. And we replied and asked that person, please, message us and, share some personal stories. We would love to hear your actual anecdotes from your life. Another one was another listener shared that I'm going to read it actually rather than paraphrase it. Because I think it's more powerful that way. She shared, such a great episode. I can relate to this discussion so much. Once, just filling my car up with gas in high school, I had two men pull up and tell me I was fat.
Oh my God.
Like, here's the quote. Like, hey, you're fat. And she's like, really? As if I didn't know. And I needed that news break out of the blue. She's giving humor here, which is just great, right? Because sometimes that's what we have to do, right? But guess what? I wasn't fat when I was 18. Actually, I looked amazing. But that stuck with me and hurt me for decades.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's amazing that something like that, right? And these were strangers,
Yeah.
right? Two dudes.
What possesses two grown men
I don't know.
to pull up?
Insecurity.
Yeah, like what is going on inside of you that you somehow take joy from that?
Yeah. Or like it makes you feel powerful somehow. Like that, hey, I'm going to tell that person what I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hate to say it, but I feel like those guys probably continued to grow up, and they're the ones who have the big trucks that have the big balls hanging off the back of them because for one reason or another
they're trying to prove something.
They're trying to prove something.
All
And like,
the time.
I'm going to tell you right now, boys, that when we see that as women, we think you're trying to compensate for something because we don't really care that you have big balls hanging off the back of your truck. That is not like a, whoo, I want to date that guy kind of situation. It's instead like, dude, gross.
Well, yeah. And I just think, I just go back to, the things, what is that book is like everything I needed to know I learned in kindergarten.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Is it Robert Fulghum? I think that's the author. Anyways, I remember reading that book and just being like, yes, cheering while I'm reading it. Because it's like, sharing. And then here, it's like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Absolutely.
There are things sometimes that pop into our heads that are just like, do a check. Yeah, that's unkind. Why? And I shouldn't say that. And then do a little like interrogation of yourself and go, yeah, why did I even think that?
Yeah.
Maybe I need to like do a little work here on myself because
it's like your inner voice.
Yeah.
It's like
not
think
kind.
before you speak. At
Think
some
before you
point,
speak.
we would think that your frontal lobe is developed. And if your frontal lobe isn't developed, then you need to be extra cautious about what it is you're saying. Exactly. Exactly.
Shut it. But then, but then her sharing that too, that it just, the impact
Impacted
it
her.
had when it was just this one time, it was strangers.
Yeah.
Right. But also, we talked about that in the last episode. There are periods in our life, sometimes it's age when we're younger, but also other times when there are things going on in our lives where we really are more vulnerable to comments like that.
Right.
And I think as women, because it happens to men too, women in this culture, we are already set up to be extra vulnerable about our appearance. So when somebody makes a negative comment like that, it really does impact us strongly.
Yeah.
And that we hold on to it. And I know I shared with you earlier today because I had an appointment with my therapist, who I love very much.
Oh, I'm so glad you're
She's
bringing this up.
amazing.
I was going to ask you. I was going to be like, so you had a thing today.
Yes. She just asked about the podcast and how it's going.
Yeah.
And then I shared, I said, actually, I was going to ask you about this. That, why do these things impact us so strongly, and that we hang on to them, right? Because it's a one incident thing. And she was like, I think they're like little traumas, and she's like, how trauma, it gets in there and it sticks in our system. And then I know when I shared that with you, what you shared about that.
Yeah, I said, I suffer from chronic pain, and I have something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome as well. And chronic pain, they're finding more and more. And I'm like a lot of people, I had a lot of trauma in my life when I was younger, and growing up, and then in college, and then through my marriage. And they are finding more and more that those things that happen to you actually physically affect your body. They stay in the fascia of your body. Yeah. So they stay, in your muscles. They stay in your tissues. And that really can impact then your healing or your ability to heal your body, because your body hangs on to that, and your body is constantly in like a fight or flight kind of stage. And I remember the first time I heard that and learned it and kind of did some research on it, and I was like, my gosh, that is so true, because so many times we tuck those things away, right? And we're like, I'm not gonna let that define me. But it doesn't matter if
it bother me.
Right. Your brain is saying one thing, but your body is saying in another way, like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang on to this.
Yeah.
And so store it.
It's in the body.
Yep.
Also, it sticks in our mind somewhere, even if it's in a file that's really deep, right? Yep. Or subconscious. It's down in there somewhere. It's still there, or in our spirit.
Oh,
and
100%.
then something happens. And it comes up.
Yeah.
And we hear that voice in our head saying that comment, or we even hear the person's voice who said it.
Yep.
and it's like, how do we, and then we will talk about like, how do we combat that? And we talked a little bit in the last episode about that, some methods, ways that we've used. Another person who shared said, another listener, I'm going to paraphrase because I didn't copy the exact words, but they said also that it just really impacted them. They had an incident in their own life, again, that where somebody said to them, "You look good when you try," is what they said.
You look good when you're not talking.
Yeah, so it was like, they were dressed up, had done something, different with their hair, that kind of thing. And the person's like, that's the comment you make. Hey, you look pretty when you try. And it's like, and she said that had such an impact on her because then, and she said, even now when I look in the mirror, sometimes that will pop up. Yeah. I'll hear that voice say that. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, if you think too, like when you are having a day where you're like, I'm looking good, I'm feeling good, and then somebody comes and chops you off at the legs, it's just like you're not expecting it, right? Yeah. It's like people that sometimes that they're like a grumpy person or that they can be a lot to handle. Yep. And it's not that you make excuses for them, but going into a situation where you're going to be interacting with them, you're like, I know that I can expect A, B, or C to happen. Yeah. And it's not going to be pleasant, but I'm more in control of myself in the situation because I know what to expect from them. Yeah. But when it's something so random like that, it really does knock the breath out of you and makes you question everything about yourself. And again, it's words, and words have the power to do so much damage. Yeah. And once those words are out, like I have a family member who when they are angry, they are prone to saying a lot of super mean things.
Harmful things.
Mm-hmm. And then when they're done with spewing their vitriol, then they're over it. They're just like, la, la, la.
They just move on.
They move on. And they don't understand the damage that they have done. And in their mind, it's like, oh my gosh, who cares? Just get over it.
Like I was mad, so it like doesn't count.
Yeah.
It does because it impacted the other person, even though you've moved on.
Yeah, but they don't understand that when you say things, even though you might be moving on from it, those words still have weight, and those words are still carried by the other person who is the recipient of those words, or somebody who might have, been witnessing a conversation between two people where they're arguing and they're hearing how someone is being spoken to, and to know the amount of hurt or angst or anger that causes the other person. And it makes it even worse, I think, when the other person just walks away and they're like, whatever, get over it. Without
they get over it.
Yeah, without caring about, how it feels. And I remember I used to say about this person, I'm like, they seriously need to like go and see a counselor and find out why it is that's their first reaction. But then I thought about it as I've gotten older, and it's like this person also never thinks that they're wrong. And so how do you...
It's a pattern.
Yeah, and you're not going to do well in counseling because you don't think there's anything wrong with you.
Yeah.
And you don't think that when you speak to people like that there's anything wrong with that either. So it's like, what do you do with people like that?
Yeah. It's accountability.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because, and we talked about this in the last episode, about like being sensitive, but at the same time, yes, that people are sensitive and people have different levels of sensitivity. Right. At the same time, we also all need to be accountable for the things that we say.
Yeah.
And things that we say to others, even if we didn't intend harm. Mm-hmm. It's still, if it however it impacted them is how it impacted them. Yep. And I need to care about that.
Yeah.
I want to care about that, and then I need to be accountable for how it impacted you, even though I thought it was no big deal. Mm-hmm. But if they, I can see in the person how it's affecting them in, body language, their facial expression, or they come right out and tell me, hey, when you said that, that really... made me feel like this, it upset me, whatever, and then receive that and then have that conversation, apologize or say, be curious, help me understand.
Yeah.
So that I can think about the things I say and maybe not say them.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it though, it just seems like in these past, 8 years, people have just been really empowered to say really mean things. And there's
to not pause,
to
like
not
we
pause,
said,
and there's
to not
no
think
accountability
before
for that.
speaking. Yeah.
And there's no accountability for what you say. There's no
Yeah.
accountability for hurtful words. There's no accountability for not speaking truth.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that happened or when that happened, but I think it makes it even more important than to use our voices, if you're witnessing somebody being spoken to in a way, or you're the person being spoken to in that way, to say like, you don't get to talk to me that way.
Speak up about it.
That is not how adults should talk to adults.
Yeah.
It's like all feelings are
Or
allowed.
kids.
Or kids. Yeah. All feelings are allowed, but not all
our
words
kids
are allowed.
Yes. And young people, even if they aren't our kids,
absolutely. To learn
think
how to
about
do that.
how we speak to one another.
Absolutely.
No matter, what our age or what the situation.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think too, as we were talking about, the harm is not just physical harm, but words. And the words, just like, a physical act that's harmful to you sticks with you, verbal does as well. And that's exactly what we're talking about, the power of these words to injure.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, exactly. Injure and harm.
It does injure, yeah. Another listener commented, and this was in response to the story I shared about my brother.
I thought this one was really
my brother's
good too.
nickname for me was Fat. She said, brothers can be our first bullies as women. I went, ooh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so someone else has had that experience as well.
Yeah.
And another listener said, I had a very similar experience. This was responding to Kristin's sharing and about her posture. And the comment the boy made, she said, I had a very similar experience also in junior high. A boy asked why girls stick their chests out. The reality was girls just had good posture, but to this boy, girls were sticking their chests out. Yeah, I feel like that's a conversation. Parents, be paying attention. Teachers, because where did that idea come from that a boy was thinking like that?
How did that idea get in your head in the first place?
Yeah. Who are the adults around that person?
Yep.
I was like, interesting. And another listener said, such a powerful shift in perspective. Words can create confusion early on. But you've proven, and I think this was from our sharing, the posse sharing, that we have the power to choose our own labels. I loved that.
I do too. Yeah.
Yes. And then she said, strong and capable looks amazing on you. Thank you for being such an inspiration.
That's lovely.
For the posse.
Thank you,
we
listener.
love that so much.
That is lovely.
Yeah, and then just some others shared, that this is it's a friend of the posse. She said, I'll send a voice memo with my thesis on this topic. I thought that was great. So I was like, yes, okay, bring it on.
Yes.
Take as many words and as much space as you need to share your story.
That's right. This is a safe space.
Yeah, because that's powerful. And we did talk about, too, that, it doesn't only happen to women. It happens to men as well. A friend shared in person who is male shared that he overheard his mom making a comment about his voice and about his singing. And it was something like, he can't carry a tune in a bucket. I don't know, that phrase, that kind of thing, but something about his voice. And actually, he's like, now he's a trained singer, and even then as a teenager, he was like a great singer, and was getting opportunities and that, but such a weird, but even though there was all this counter information and experience that said, no, you actually are a really great singer, a parent or somebody, whose voice is powerful in your life, a family member, close friend, said this negative comment. Yeah. And that stuck.
Yeah.
And so he said, even now when it affects how he warms up and prepares to sing and when he prepares to do a performance, because it's that's still that little voice, that little something that brings doubt. Yeah. Right? That we start doubting ourselves and our abilities.
Yeah.
So I think that's very interesting. So with all this,
may I throw something in really quickly?
Yes, absolutely.
Just because it so perfectly ties into that.
Oh, yes.
Please do. I've been thinking about this since you recorded the last episode, of course.
Yeah.
But just in this moment, this memory came to me. I had this sense memory as you
I
were
know,
telling
because
the story.
I had asked you. I'd said, Logan, what about you?
And you know there are things,
Yes.
right? And I'm certain there are more, but
they pop up at different times,
They do.
right?
They do.
Yeah.
But that story totally unlocked this memory for me I haven't thought about in a while, at least actively.
Yeah.
But it was, there was a group of like neighbor boys that I would play around with.
Yeah.
And I was always into music. I was always singing and doing all that stuff.
Logan's a great singer, by the way.
Yes.
Very kind of you. Thank you.
It's true.
They, across the street, these two brothers, they like played drums and played guitar and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we were talking about starting a band.
Love
and
it.
we were like, I don't know, 10, 11, that range.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were talking, I said I really wanted to sing. That was the thing I felt like I did best.
Yeah.
And they told me that they didn't want me to be the singer for their band because I sung too high. My voice was too high.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
And that was the thing that, like, to this day, still pops up in my brain randomly.
Yeah.
And makes me self-conscious about
Yes.
my voice.
Yes.
And the way that I
But you have the kind of voice,
sing.
if your voice was high, like boys choirs, I mean, like you have to have that kind of voice to be
Right.
in them.
And
when, if I take a second to like think about
but
it
in
logically,
in the moment,
that
absolutely.
sounded like a negative.
Yes.
they present it as a negative, right? And I received it as a negative.
Exactly.
And so now, I mean, my logical brain can say that's stupid, and
it's still
I have
there.
done so right.
Yeah.
But my like subconscious physical being
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
has a response to that memory. If it
Yeah.
comes up, like I'll
Yeah.
get that knot in my stomach, and I'll get kind of self-conscious, and I have to work my way through that.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. It's weird what.
It is.
And I was also thinking earlier when you were telling that kind of first story about sticking your chest out, and
Yeah.
what things did I say to other people
Yes.
that I didn't register in the moment were things I shouldn't say?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but certainly I have offended people as
Yeah.
a child, and whatever.
Right. Or you were going along with the crowd, so you said,
Right.
yeah, instead of, and I mean, I think about that. I've reflected on that. And when I was even in elementary school and, then somebody picking on a girl and calling her a name and and I knew this girl already was self-conscious about how she looked. And I think it was something, it was like her last name was Smeal and they called her Smelly or something,
Yep.
just something terrible like that. Right. And I think she came from a family that didn't have a lot of resources.
Yeah.
And so, it's possible maybe she wasn't always in clean clothes, or something like that.
Yeah.
But, who cares? Right?
Right.
And I mean, and I just remember feeling, I mean, you're a little kid, but I'm feeling compassion, right?
Of
For
course.
this girl and being confused. I think that's one of those things. It's a cognitive dissonance thing where you're like, but wait, she's like nice. So why are you saying this mean thing about her?
Right.
Or, she's just a person.
Yeah.
So why is that happening and like being like, ugh, this is mean, but also there's this social situation I'm in and I don't want to be the girl that like, can I say something? And I remember like just not saying anything. And I feel bad about that. And it was like in elementary school, but still,
Sometimes
right?
it doesn't have to be active bullying. Sometimes it's
Yes.
the things that you say innocuously or the things that you don't say at all.
Don't
Yeah.
say it all and you just
Right.
watch it happen and you don't speak up.
What are the things that I have put out into the world
Yeah.
that stick with people their whole lives?
Yeah.
Like that. I think we all, I'm sure we all have that experience in some form or another.
Yes.
That's and it's not for us to carry. We've put that on somebody else.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I think that's really
Yeah.
fascinating to think about.
Yeah. And it is just another reminder that, our words matter. Think before we speak, like the things we were saying, the things that really, you learned when you were a little kid.
Yeah, I had
about
somebody share with me about they had a
being
second grade
thoughtful,
teacher.
being kind. Yeah.
And the second grade teacher, they were coloring and the teacher asked a question and something about coloring and they said, "Oh, I color really well. I can color in the lines." And they were so proud of that. And the teacher said, "Nobody likes a bragger." And she said, to this day, she's like, I never, like, people will give me a compliment and I'm like, ooh. And she said, I can't I can't make compliments about anything that I do, or I don't feel comfortable saying, oh, I know I can do that for you. I can do that well, and I'd be happy to help you. And she's a graphic designer. And she's like, I can't do it because it sticks in my head that this teacher said to me, nobody likes a bragger.
Right.
And she's like, I was 6.
Yeah. And the teacher interpreted that as bragging rather than, and that story for me was like, ooh, because I mean, that was very much the message I got even in adulthood of like, don't ever say anything like positive about yourself because you're showing off.
Yeah.
You're bragging.
Well, and this was at a Christian school, and their whole thing was like,
I was just going to bring up. I'm sure there's.
It was at a Christian school, and they were like,
you have to be humble.
Yes, you have to be humble, and Jesus doesn't like that you brag. And I remember when I heard this, and I said, but. Not to go off topic, but I said to them, okay, but we're taught that, if you believe in God or believe in a higher power, a lot of times, a lot of the gifts come from above. So I'm like, so God knows that you are a really good colorer. So look at it that way. Because I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like everybody's given talents and gifts. Yeah. So it's like, you should use your talents and gifts. Yeah. But that, like the teacher literally just shut down.
Just shut it down. And when your kid, and actually anytime in our life, it's okay it's not bragging.
No.
It can turn into bragging, but we all know what actual bragging looks like, right? Yes. As opposed to somebody just saying, I'm proud of myself, and it's okay to be proud of myself, and to say like, gosh, I've worked really hard at this. Maybe I did have a knack for it, but I work really hard at it, and I work on my skills, and like, I did a really good job at that. And that's not bragging.
No. And doesn't it help you sometimes?
Being confident.
Yes. And to know, so like I said, she's a graphic designer, you know? I mean, thankfully, she said, that's still stuck with her. But because of the talent that she has, it helped to determine her career path. And she's like, I think about that all the time. Like, what if I would have, decided to not become a graphic designer because of this? And there's other people, same thing, well, I didn't like your friend, whose mom said that. Well, what if they never would have tried out for a play again?
Wouldn't have continued and to overcome a comment like that.
Exactly.
Or let that comment grow, and then it inhibits you.
100%.
You as well, Logan. Yeah, if you let that comment, and maybe you do have a high voice, but like that's extraordinary. Even when your voice changes, you're a tenor. Yeah. Right. So and you can sing extraordinarily high. Actually, then it becomes like the coolest thing ever. Right.
Does.
You can hit that note.
It's like, woo.
It did help in college. What?
Yeah.
But like that, it's that interesting duality within yourself of being able to consciously reason that and understand that. I can look back in that moment and think, of course, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that subconscious, unconscious thing that lives in you forever, which is always going to pop up as that response. It's that knot in your stomach. It's that slight hesitation. It's that, whatever, because that thing was said to you at some point and you internalized that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. It is that internalizing and that like those little that stick in
it's
there.
So crazy though, isn't it? Because it's like I can't find my car keys sometimes, but can I remember the nasty things that were said? Yes. Can I remember all the songs from the 80s and 90s? Yes. Can I find my car keys? No. But the things that you remember, that your body remembers and then doesn't allow you to remember, you would think sometimes it'd be great to not remember some of these things that cost you trauma, but
thankfully I think we don't remember some of them.
Some of them, yeah. But the ones you do remember, you're just like, really? Like that's what I remember? That's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, and some of those are tucked away, and then there's sense memories or circumstantial memories that come back.
Yes.
Like I didn't remember that story until you brought this up just now.
There was something that like brought it to your mind.
The last time I remembered that story was probably years ago when I was in some sort of performance capacity, and it it hit me or whatever.
So crazy.
It's weird how the brain does that. It protects you, and then it reminds you, and then it triggers you, and then it tucks it away for the next time.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and then I think that's one of the things too that we had talked about in the last episode, and then can continue to talk about today about like what are the ways then when those things come up that we deal with them. And like Logan, you had shared, we reason through it, right? We're like, okay. And I think I talked to my therapist about that a little bit today when we were saying, when that comes up, like talk to it, to the comment. So like the looking in the mirror and, you're fat, like that kind of comment, right? As an example, and being like, actually, no, I'm not. And then even telling that for me, it would be helpful also to say, you shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up comment.
Yeah.
No. Or, you know what? I understand why that happened, but that was that person that said it. There's something going on with them.
Yeah.
The guys at the gas station, that made that comment to our listener. It's like, there's something going on with them. That's their stuff. They need to deal with that. They came out in a nasty comment at me. But you know what? I'm not going to let that, like you said, I'm not going to let that affect me.
Yeah.
It's also not true.
Yeah.
And then being able to say positive things to yourself then. Like,
and you know what? Even if you are, like, what if you're like, okay, yeah, I'm a little
maybe
chunkier than I want to be.
Maybe I am overweight,
but that's
guess
one
what?
small section
It's one thing about
of
me.
a part of many other things about myself that are amazing and incredible.
Yeah. And maybe
I have the capacity to change things about myself that I
Right.
don't like too.
Right.
So
And also, yeah, maybe I am, but guess what?
who cares?
I look great still.
Yeah.
And I feel good, feel good about myself.
Yep.
And so, yeah, don't put your stuff on me.
No.
Keep
And
it
I
to
think
keep
those
it to
words of
yourself.
affirmation, my
Yes,
daughter has a
it's very
sticker inside her
helpful.
car. It's on a Post-it note, and it's like the ink is almost completely faded now. And it's just a little note that I wrote to her, and it just says, "I love you, Mom." And
Yes.
she has moved that from every car that she has, and it's just
I love
hangs
that
out
so
on her
much.
car. And
Yeah.
that is something that she's like, it's just a reminder when I've had a really crappy day that somebody loves me. Even if I can't love
Yes.
myself today or I'm upset,
Yeah.
I know that you've got my back. I'm like, oh, because I said, you want me to write you a new one? And she said, no. And I said, but like the ink is almost gone. And she said, but I know what
part
it
of
says.
the beauty of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. She's like, I know what it says.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that. That's a good transition because I think you are such an encourager.
Oh, thank
and you
you.
have been an
You
encourager
are
to
too,
me.
though.
And so talking,
Vice versa.
yeah, thank you. And those positive things that people say to us that stick with us too,
Yes,
because
yes.
there are also
There is a
positive
lot.
things. I think it's true
Yeah.
that the negative seems to overwhelm sometimes,
Yes.
but then part of counteracting that is the positive things
Yes.
that if people have said
Yeah.
that can help to encourage us. And like, so the example that I was going to share was with you. And I remember it was after I think it was a performance after getting back into doing some theater again, like just in the last few years. And
Which she's amazing, by the way. Like if you ever have the chance to
You're very
come to the Midwest
kind.
and see her, like the woman
I just
owns
love
the
it.
stage.
I just love it. It
Owns
brings me so much joy.
Yes,
so
and you're
I just
excellent.
love
super talented.
creating and playing and telling stories.
Yes.
But yeah, I just, and so I was working on building my own my confidence, right? Especially getting back into it and, just all of those things. And you do feel self-conscious and you put yourself out there
100%.
and you know everyone's going to have an opinion. That's just part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I felt like you were talking about with your friend, I felt good about what I had done. I'd worked hard. I think I did a good job. I enjoyed it so much. And afterwards, you came up to me. I know I'm gonna get verklempt. No, you just came up to me and you held my face, I think. Yeah. You held my face
Probably
and you
squished
just
your face.
Yeah, and you just went and you said it because it was a loud room, after a show, people all come and it's loud, and you just said, "Oh my gosh, you were so amazing." And this is the thing. It wasn't that I was so amazing. It was that you said, "I'm so proud of you." And I was like, oh, I did cry at the time, and I've got stage makeup on. And it's all going down my face. And no, but it was like any of those other comments that were negative, it banished them.
Yeah.
It just burst them. And also it reminded me that I don't know that anyone has said that to me before. Especially parents.
Yeah.
It's not that my parents didn't say you did a really good job, but that's very different from I'm so proud of you. And it was I just that was so impactful. So we're talking about words, positive words that were so impactful. Yeah. And I think it's and just because you just wanted me to hear it, and it did. It's just it penetrated my heart. It was so good. Yeah. But so that's something that I hold on to. That whenever I do something where I'm taking a risk, putting myself out there, I'm doing a podcast and I'm telling these things and people are listening to them. Hopefully, it's encouraging them too. But that people are going to say things and whatever, but that, that I feel good about what I'm doing and feel I'm proud of it. And that you then making me feel strong enough to say I'm proud of myself.
Yeah. But you know what,
too,
though, with that,
believe in myself.
You make it super easy, though, because like knowing you and knowing what you've gone through and all of those things and knowing the self-doubt that you had, to be able to see you in your element, shining on stage and becoming these characters and hearing people around being like, oh my gosh.
She's such an encourager.
No, but hearing people say like how good you are, or, you know, they'll say, I'm going to go see this play this weekend. And I'll say, oh, my super good friend's in there. My sister's in there. And they're like, oh, well, or they'll see it and they'll say, well, who was she? And I'll say, and they're like, oh, she was so good. And the thing is like, you've always had that in you. It's just that somebody dimmed your light for a little bit. And so to see you now.
The light dimming.
Yeah.
Damn.
To see you like pulling that out from that little bushel, you know, and like shining on stage and doing what you love and bringing so much joy to people, but bringing so much joy to yourself because I see you growing and believing in yourself every single time with every single play. I am so proud of you.
Oh,
and you should be so proud of yourself because
We're having
it's
a moment.
so powerful. And it's so
good.
powerful for
Thank
people
you.
to see that. You know, especially people around you when you do hear the negative things or you're used to the negative things. And for people who see you and challenge you and love you and trust you to be like, I got you and look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing thing to witness, like as a friend as well. And I'm so
Thank
proud
you so
of you.
much.
It's
true. And I do. I feel like
true.
I do have now this posse around me of people that are not, you know, it's not necessarily your family you're born into necessarily.
No, it's your chosen family.
It's not necessarily blood relatives, whatever you want to say. It's not necessarily the people you'd expect, but like you choose those people, right? To be around you that are always there, supportive, positive. Also, like we said, they will also check you.
Yeah.
Especially if you ask for it, like, no, I want your honest opinion. Please tell me.
Yes.
You know, and because it's always done from a place of love and caring.
Or it should be.
Yes.
It should be.
But I mean, those people, that's why
you're chosen.
That's why
ones
you're
know.
a posse. And anyone who doesn't do that, you're out of the posse. Like, or you just don't include them because you know that they're not capable of that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's those people that you can rely on always for support. And that it does come from a place of love and caring and concern, and how we need people like that in our lives.
100%.
And then people who speak those positive things that impact us and that stick with us, so that when they're not around us and we can't call them, and we can hear those voices in our heads instead.
That drowned them out.
Yeah, that can combat the negatives, right? Do you have an example of someone that said something that has stuck with you?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like when I was going through all of my divorce stuff, like, I mean, you knew everything that I was going through with it, and I was not going to have a house for a while. And you opened your home to me, and you were there every single time. And my one that I really remember that has stuck with me is I had something really traumatic happen in college and had like a PTS flashback from it because I happened to be in the situation where it happened.
In the place.
Yep. And I was texting you about it and you called me, and I think you were on the phone with me for like an hour just listening to me as I sobbed. You got in trouble about it because you went to church the next day and you texted me to make sure that I was doing okay, and the pastor at the time, who was like your supervisor, was like, said that like, what was it that you were like you were disturbing her sermon.
I remember that.
Yeah, because you happened to be on your phone, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, you're a grown adult.
I don't go to that church anymore, by the way.
No, but I just remember
that didn't end
like
well, or actually, it did end well.
It did.
Now
it ended very well for you.
Not connected with those people.
Yeah, but you walked me through all of that, and I remember you said, you know, do you want me? Because it was a it was a situation where I was going to have the potential to be put in that numerous times because it was related to a football field and games and people dating people and all these other things, and an expectation to go to these games. And you said, do you want me to talk to Eric? And Eric's my boyfriend. And you're like, do you want me to talk to him and let him know like really what's going on? Because I couldn't verbalize everything. But the thing is I didn't have to verbalize all of it to you. Yeah. Like you knew what I was saying, even as I was like not able to give the words, or I was repeating the same thing over and over and everything. Yeah. And you just sat there in silence. And it's like one of the things that we sometimes say to each other is, do you want me to listen or do you want me to give you advice? Yeah. And at that point, I didn't know what I needed, but just to know that like you were there. And when you did speak, the words that you said, even though I don't remember them exactly, were what I needed to hear. Yeah. And that was super powerful and super healing.
I'm glad I could be there. Well, and one of the things I've learned from you, from what you just said, was that instead of thinking that you need to say something like profound or like the right thing, is you've said to me, you're just like, how can I support you? And sometimes that's all, you know, and even though I can't tell you, it's just the fact that you said that means like whatever, what I hear is whatever you need me to say or 100%. Do or wherever you need
Anytime,
me to be.
Any place.
I will be. I will be there and I'm letting you tell me that rather than assuming that you need this or I should say that. Yeah. And I just think that that's such a beautiful thing.
Very lucky.
But Logan, I'm turning to you. Do you have anything that somebody has said to you that like sticks with you? That's a positive thing that you also hear or that also comes up that just helps to encourage you?
I mean, certainly I do, right?
Like, you got this.
Yeah.
I love it. Actually, that's one that I would hold on to, too. That's a newer thing for me. Like, I don't really to have people say that to me. Yes, you got this.
You've got this.
I believe in you.
Oh.
I'd have to think about it to really dig in. No immediate mantras come to mind. But what I will say is two things here. I'll give you two. So one is my friends used to make fun of me a lot because I would always tell people I was proud of them. And I guess I would do it so much that like...
I love that
I love that too. I'm like, oh.
And the truth was, I never thought about it because I was legitimately proud of people. But
and so you'd say it.
Something in my childhood, something at some point along the way must have really normalized for me.
Ooh, love that.
This idea of the importance of telling people that you're proud of them and that you see what they did and that they achieved something and that you recognize it. Yeah. And so it was just very normal for me. And my friends, for whatever reason, just identified that was a thing I did that other people didn't do.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know where that came from necessarily, but I would, that was a given to me.
I love that.
And
I'm going to hang out with Logan more.
It's a thing that I do. And I you run the risk of sometimes telling somebody something too much that it devalues it, right? Because you've said it so much. But I promise, if I've ever told you that I'm proud of you, it's because I was legitimately proud of you. And I meant it.
Sincere.
Yeah. I think the thing that you did was really special and that you should be proud of it.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then the other thing is, this is a recent one, but my wife, Marnie, and my daughter, Marlo, have started doing this thing together. Well, they'll say, Daddy is the, and Marlo will go, best. Oh. Right? So that's a big thing right now, recently.
I love that.
That's so cute.
And I think those little kind of affirmations go a long way. And they come and go in waves and phases and they change form and whatnot. But it's this verbal manifestation of the role that I play in their lives and that they see that in me.
I love
that. And they value that. And Marnie does a really good job of instilling that in Marlo, that we are joyful people, we are positive people, that we lift others up. Yeah. And that starts at home. That starts with her parents and with us, right?
Yeah.
But
shout out to Marnie.
Yes.
All the shout outs, for sure. So that's a recent one that has stuck with me that I keep in the back of my head. It's just a fun, playful little thing, but it does mean something, I think, to both of us.
I love that. It's like those little videos you've seen, the little 4-year-olds, and they're like in the mirror, and they're like, who's the best girl? You're the best girl. Who's the smartest girl? I'm the smartest girl. Who's the kindest girl? Me. What are you going to do today? Make a difference. And it's like the parents have like done all of that with them. And it's like, it's so powerful because it's
we need to do that any age.
Oh, any age.
Yes. Keep
you can
doing
do
it.
hard things. Like that's the big things. I think people think, oh, you got old. And you're like, no, there's still a lot of hard things. And we need a reminder a lot of times that
more hard
you
things,
can do
right?
hard things. You might think like,
adulting.
oh, I don't want to do any hard things and I can't do hard things. But you can do hard things.
Yeah.
And when you surround yourself too, like with the people who care and love about you, and even if you feel like you don't have anybody sometimes, and sometimes we all feel alone, you still have you, and you are your very first best friend.
Yeah.
And you need to remember that you are your hype person.
Yeah,
you
that
are your
self-talk.
wingman. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you
it's so
can do
powerful.
it. 100%.
I love that you bring that up in alignment with what I just said, because I think those go hand in hand.
Yes.
The idea of affirming yourself.
Yes.
And the idea of affirming others.
Yes.
100%.
And there's a power in being able to do both.
Yes.
Yes.
At
I
any given
agree.
time. If you are affirmed in yourself, your affirmations given out to others are so much more valuable and sincere.
And powerful.
Right.
Yeah.
And vice versa. The more that you can put out into the world, the more prepared you are to then give it to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's all,
Yes.
especially with the young people in our lives.
Yes.
Yes.
Like instilling that in them.
Yes.
Get in front of the mirror, get in front of the people that play roles in their lives, and having them affirm them and affirm themselves. And I think that's all really valuable.
Yeah, so good. I feel like, and practical, I'm like Post-it notes on my mirror. I feel like that's also a good way. Also songs, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
find songs that also that
You said
can,
those all the time. I
right,
love
that you can hit play.
I'm always listening to them. It's like 7:00 in the morning, and you're like, "Ooh, this new artist."
Because it will. It'll something that pops up that encourages me. That, like you said, that is like an affirmation from myself. Then I'm like, ooh, somebody will pop into my head and be like, and I'll be like, ooh, I'm sending this to them because I
It's so
think
good.
it will also encourage them.
And I
it's
listen
like,
to them like every time, and I'm like, yes,
like because we just need that,
100%.
and for ourselves and for others, those positives. So, listeners, if you have positive these positive words, positive experiences, just like the negative ones we have talked about, that have just had an impact on you, that pop up, you know, and that encourage you, or maybe even, on a daily basis, it's like, this person said this to me. So whenever I do this, it comes up and I remember, and I feel better about myself. I feel like I can do something. It builds my confidence. Please share those.
Share.
Share it in the comments for this episode, or send a message to the Power Posse Podcast on our platforms. And
We'll talk about
we would
those
love
too.
to hear the positives as well.
The power of positivity.
The power of positivity. And then also, if you have any other ideas of topics you'd like us to talk about, discussions that you would like us to have, please share those. Logan had one that he brought up.
Yes, that we think is fabulous, and we will definitely be talking about this.
Yeah, I can do it really quickly.
As a possible topic.
Yeah.
Coming up.
It's summertime.
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 Marnie and I, my wife, were discussing swimsuits.
Yeah.
She went through the process that I think all people, and in particular women, do
I'm just
every
gonna sigh
year.
for everybody.
Right. Like, you know. And I was kind of watching her do this, and it's a saga.
Yes.
She spent weeks trying to
I
find
love
the
that.
right thing.
Saga is a great word for it.
Yes.
Yeah. And every time I kind of have this conversation with somebody, and again, particularly women, that seems to resonate.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
And I just can't stop thinking about the fact that, you know, she has to go through so much to find something that feels good and fits well and presents her in a way that she perceives herself or wants to be perceived. And there's so much that goes into it. And conversely, I'm over here and I have like, you know, cheap swimsuit from Target and don't think about it and throw it on. You know, I don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's not to say that I don't think about the way that I look in it, or that I don't
we always
question that, right?
how we feel about ourselves.
But I don't have
and
to worry
everybody.
as much about what other people will perceive of me, or what society says people should perceive about me.
Right.
It's so different for other people.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm saying this as a male versus female experience in society, but it's true for so many others as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's an interesting discussion, because everybody has some experience with that. Everyone's experienced that at some point.
Yes.
The way that we in society are forced into certain experiences that we don't necessarily want to go through.
Yeah.
And how we're perceived by others, and how we're told we should be perceived by others, and how we should act within that.
Yep.
So
and the invisible parameters.
And it's very much how our appearance and our size and our shape, like those kinds of things, the physical, our physical qualities and traits, and how those are so over focused on of that being everything about us. Yeah. And it's not.
Yeah.
And for the record, Marnie picked out a swimsuit that looks incredible, but also makes her feel the way that I think she should feel, right? Which is incredible.
Right.
You know, she is incredible and deserves to feel so, and I think she does.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
That's super sweet.
Yeah, it is.
So
you're awesome.
Yeah.
Marnie, we think Logan's awesome.
Me too.
I mean, listen, I understand that I married up, right? I know
It's all right,
what's
dude.
going on.
It's all right, dude.
Just
Good
trying
job.
to live up to it every
Good
day.
job. Good job.
It's kind of how it is.
Okay, so it sounds like we'll have a swimsuit conversation here in the days to
Ooh,
come.
that's
What was your
so
favorite
good.
swimsuit? What do you hate about swimsuits? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, because I did send you a picture of me when I was, oh my God, I never thought that I ever wore a bikini. But this was this picture that I found in a box of me as a little girl.
I think I sent you
And
back
I
to what my
actually
mom
had
said. Yeah, I'm like,
a bikini on,
bikini.
and I went. It was a black and white photo. Okay, I'm telling how old I am. Right? I know. Logan's laughing. I just was like, wait, they did have colored pictures when I was a little girl.
Polaroids.
There was color, but no, and really didn't imagine. I was like, oh, look, she's in a. I mean, it's like it's not. It's covering, Anyway, it just was funny. I was like, that's me in that photo. There was a time when I wore a bikini. Wow. Woo. I don't think it's ever going to happen again. But anyway, it's because I'm just not comfortable in that. Yeah. But and I think you shared one. And then, did you say your mom said, what did she say? She said something about it. I don't know, but
something about it. I'm sure.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it was me and my
anyway.
sister.
Yeah. So we will. We'll talk swimsuits.
Maybe we'll bring our little pictures
and how we. Yes, we could do that. How we feel about that, and just the whole process of and then once you even have it, go into the pool. Or laying out.
Yes. Or going to the country, or I'm going to Greece where like nakedness is like a big thing. And I'm like,
So that's even just the way it's a different culture, right? Yeah. And how the body is perceived and looked at and what. So it's just,
it's a lot.
Very interesting. Yeah.
It's a good idea.
We look forward to that. Yeah. So please send us your ideas too about discussions you'd like us to have, the Power Posse, and with you, our listeners as well. So let's wrap this episode up. We are so glad that you joined us for this episode and this conversation. We want you, listener, to keep owning your power, keep finding your people. And if you're still looking, you've got us right here, the Power Posse. If something in the reflection, this reflection stirred something in you, please pass it on. Pass on this discussion, this podcast episode to others. Share it with your girls, guys, anybody that you think would benefit to it, that would be encouraged by it. And then definitely share in the comments those words that have impacted you, negative and positive. And definitely share it with someone who you feel needs it, as well as you might need it too.
That's right.
Yep. Right. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on what's next with the Power Posse Podcast. And if you're feeling generous, please leave us a rating or review. It helps more badass women find their way to this space. This episode was produced by Upload Media Group. Thank you, Logan.
Thank you, Logan.
Thank you all.
And we thank you for your input in the podcast today, too. We appreciate that so much. And to our listeners, please keep your sparkle alive. And we look forward to seeing you next time on the Power Posse Podcast.
Woo!
Yes.
Yes, we got this.
Love you. Believe in yourself.
Love you.
You're awesome.
Yes, no more balls from trucks.
No.